Viewers, in the nation's union capital, the situation has reached a tipping point. In what are easily the worst communal clashes in more than 3 decades in the city, groups from 2 different communities were seen attacking each other in broad daylight. The scenes that have been captured on camera are chilling and testify to the hate and suspicion fueling the riots. Times Now has taken the added precaution of carefully editing the videos to remove disturbing content. But unfortunately, this precaution alone will not help till there are those who are putting out unverified videos on social media to incite passions. Now, these opportunists have succeeded in only exacerbating the paranoia that has come to grip the local, forcing them to turn upon each other. I want to begin tonight by making a fervent appeal to all residents of Delhi to not fall for the hateful commentary that accompanies these unverified videos. Commentary that stops people from seeing each other through the lens of humanity. Delhi needs to unite and fight this cancer that is slowly spreading and destroying the cosmopolitan soul of our city, of our nation's capital. Who will stop this free run? Who is responsible? Can the police force, led by a commissioner who is empowered to act, pass the buck? Can the state, the political class today look away? And can those who have been from the sidelines, egging on both communities? Today, viewers, get away by saying, I'm sorry, but it's the state's responsibility to douse the flames we light. Today is the day when we stop looking at each other from the lens or the prism of a community, of an identity. We have to look at each other as humans first, in the service of humanity and all that it encompasses, which is passion, compassion, empathy, unity, justice, and most importantly, viewers, this nation. We are all one. We are all of this soil. We are all first Indians, and we shall stand as Indians. Tonight, we must first cover some ground by talking about the incidents. We can't sweep this under the carpet. Times Now will not be forced by forces to not report the truth tonight. And I am not going to be taking any sides in this debate. It's far too late for that. The judges and the courts will decide who are the villains, not Times Now, not you, viewers. And we will certainly not allow individuals to cloud our judgment. I want to first go across to our reporters who have been confronted with scenes that have chilled them, that have also endangered their very lives. And I want to first begin with Bhavtosh. Bhavtosh, I know that you've spent the last 3 days fearing a turn for the worst, and that turn has come. And I know that you have been in some of these areas where unmentionable atrocities have been committed. I want you to first tell me, what is the situation on the ground, where you are? Tell us where you are, how things erupted this morning once again, and what is the situation now?
Well, presently I'm at Zafrabad and things are under control. There have been no incident of violence, but at around 6 p.m. when we somehow managed to go inside Chandbagh, horrific visuals that we managed to capture on our mobile phone, where protesters were having a flea run and our RAF personnel were, despite lobbing several tear gas shells, the protesters did not even budge from the spot. In fact, they indulged in arson. That went on from 6 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. and the police as well as paramilitary force remain mute spectator. Like, answering your second question now, the violence today started at around 5 in the morning in Brahmpuri, where disturbing news came that shots were fired by protesters. In fact, yesterday when a fire broke out in Tire Market in Gokulpuri by protesters, firemen were attacked. A fire tender was set afire. Then at around 7:30, clashes broke out in Mojpur and also in Babarpur, followed by virtually a free-for-all like yesterday in Bhajanpura, in Brijpuri, in Gokulpuri. Between 11:45 a.m. and noon, there were at least 5 calls that were received by the fire department of arson, stone pelting, and shops being set afire in Gokulpuri. Now, lessons should have been learned by Delhi police yesterday, but nothing like that happened. And it was only after 6 p.m. when more security personnel and paramilitary forces were pressed in that things are now under control. But again, we have to wait and watch, because even yesterday, Gokulpuri and other parts of northeast Delhi witnessed very heavy clashes around 10 p.m. which went on till wee hours.
Well, that's a very comprehensive picture, and you can see some of those visuals there which are a testament to the mayhem that descended upon Delhi and these areas over the last 3 days. Now, I want to bring in Siddhant and Priyank. Priyank, first you. You've been reporting from the epicenter of the violence, Mojpur and the other adjoining localities. What's the situation there like? Just about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, we saw once again clashes. Why is the police finding it so difficult to take control of the situation there?
See, Rahul, it's basically because the main road of the Zafrabad and the Mojpur area are also joined by narrow lanes, which is a densely populated area. So after protesters come on road, they do rioting, they go inside. But the biggest fear for the Delhi police official is the spreading of these kind of protests, because yesterday till late evening, the protesters were only on stretch of 2.5 kilometers and they were doing rampage. But later to that, in the evening, violence started spreading, and that led to Tire Market as well as Brahmpuri, and now in the evening there were rumors that some kind of violence has also started in Geeta Colony area, which has been denied by the senior officials on the ground. So right now what the cops are doing, they are also sensitizing people and telling them to be inside their houses, because since late evening yesterday, the violence has spread across this stretch of northeast Delhi. But another fear which is there in the mind of people, and I'm certainly not wrong in saying that, is a fear in the mind of people, because we have been getting constant call till late evening from this area that rioters are going to selected houses, shops are being targeted and ransacked. After being ransacked, they are being put on set on fire. So that is another trouble for the Delhi police, which they will have to look into, because people in the area are certainly living under fear, Rahul. That is the worst fear which they have witnessed in the last 3 decades. Since late evening, no further report of violence, but the cops are also on their high toes. They said earlier that a curfew has been imposed in 14 areas. Similar kind of announcement were also made. But just a short while back, I spoke to the senior official. They said that security has been tightened, and so far they are only focusing on Section 144 imposed in this area. Back to you.
So you're saying that curfew hasn't still been imposed. That's very interesting. Siddhant, where have you located yourself today? We saw a large number of walkthroughs from you, where you were showing us area domination patrols by various battalions of the police. Have they been successful?
Yes, Rahul. I was with the area dominating battalion of police and paramilitary forces. We have gone to the areas like Khajuri Khas and Chand Bagh, and there we saw, Rahul, that how the shops are gutted, the shops are set ablaze by the protesters, and the fresh violence took place after that. Police had decided to do the area domination. Now, Rahul, one thing is very interesting, that police does flag marches, but the protesters are so much communally charged that they are not ready to listen. Under the pressure of police, they go inside their homes or they start hiding in the by-lanes and the lanes of that particular area. But immediately police and the paramilitary force turn their back. They are again on the street burning bikes and vandalizing the public property. Now, Rahul, I would like to narrate the ordeal, what exactly happened with me. One of the protesters literally came and threatened me and my camera persons, those who were covering at Khajuri Khas, in the police presence. Police turned their back and I continued shooting. Immediately he got the chance and he threatened both of us. Immediately Delhi police and the paramilitary forces rescued that particular area and took us to a safer place. So this has become a scenario, Rahul, as you mentioned in the opening, that people are, this is a cancer, it is spreading, and people are so communally charged that they are not ready to listen to the cops, they are not ready to listen to their own leaders. They have elected even the leaders from their own community. They just want revenge, and this is a fact which we all have to accept.
Anyone who today thinks that these are clashes born out of individuals divided over the CAA are living in a fool's paradise. These are outright communal clashes between communities, and I want to bring in Padmaja. I would request Bhavtosh, Priyank and Siddhant to stay on the broadcast. Padmaja, I think we need to now drop this veil of, call it what you want, but political correctness. This is an outright communal conflagration.
It is because there was an attempt to make it exactly that. While there is violence, the violence that has happened, Rahul, there are enablers, people who have actively ensured that it is turned communal on the outside as well. Let me also tell our viewers, and this is backed up by all of our reporters who've been getting us verified details over time. Every single video that we have put out has been personally verified by our team of reporters, or it has been recorded by them. As opposed to that, there is, a large-scale use of social media which is being done, and one is totally mystified as to why there hasn't been a crackdown and a scrutiny on social media, which is being literally used as a weapon by some interests, either out of ignorance or out of malice, were completely unverified and worse. I
think we're having a few audio issues with you. Ironically, you're the closest one to us. You're in our newsroom and we haven't been able to connect with you. We're going to try and get that situation rectified. But very frankly, a large amount of unverified viewers, information, rumor mongering has been going on. And this has led, in fact, people to view each other with deep suspicion. And the people behind this are greater criminals than the ones today who have been led blind into a situation where they're stopping at nothing to settle scores. And those are the real criminals. Now, whether they are from political parties or they are viewers, individuals who are partisan from the media or from social groups or from these residents or other affiliated organizations attached to various communities, they all need to be identified and prosecuted. And I want to bring back Padmaja Joshi once again. Padmaja, you were talking about this entire campaign on Twitter, on social media, unverified campaign of videos. How responsible has this been in sparking the scenes that we are witness to?
Very, very responsible. In fact, let's make no bones about it. There are people who, out of ignorance or out of malice, have been actively spreading misinformation. And while it is hardly surprising that some people would want to use it to their political ends or whatever ends it is that they want to accomplish, why is the government, where it should be most obvious to them that there are no known hate mongers who are out there, they are putting out details, unverified, downright informative inflammatory, things, details, videos which are downright communal in nature, which we also had, Rahul, but we decided to not share because the larger goal is to maintain peace.
Yes.
People have shared it, and the government, for some strange reason, had turned a blind eye. One wonders why.
Okay, I'm just going to bring in straight away the BJP national spokesperson, Dr. Sambit Patra, senior spokesperson of the political party, the Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to ask you, Dr. Patra, it's been 4 days. Let's be honest about this. Friday is when we first got information. Saturday is when all hell began to break loose. By the evening, Sunday was completely given to violence. Monday and today, Tuesday. We've had a situation where your government, sir, has been caught flat-footed in the union capital of this country. How do you explain this? Why shouldn't we today say that your government has failed to get the police to do its job?
See, Rahul, as far as our government in the last couple of months, I would say, because whatever is happening today is just the tipping point or the culmination of what we have been seeing in the last couple of months in the CAA issue. So in the last couple of months, the government has been quite vigilant. We have seen the JNU case, we had seen the Jamia case, we had seen Shahin Bagh, we had seen Silampur, we are presently seeing Zafrabad, Muzaffarabad and other areas in Delhi. The government has been vigilant right from the very beginning. I firmly believe that the Delhi police is quite capable, but of course restraint is one of the most important weapons that Delhi police uses. It really does not want to cross a fine line which is drawn. But I agree with you that the kind of situation that we are seeing on the ground today is quite worrisome, and that's the reason as to why the Home Minister of the country, Mr. Amit Shah, had called for a meeting. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal also participated in the meeting, and there was a press release thereafter. Meetings are going on, the paramilitary force has been called in, but as one of your reporters said, that things have gone out of hand in the sense that despite the fact that there are peace marches carried out by the Delhi police and the paramilitary forces, the moment they turn back, there is a communal flare-up in the area. I firmly believe in a day or two you will see that the whole thing would move towards normalcy. As we are speaking, there is normalcy in most of these areas, but at the end, well, yes, I would also call out for peace, but I would say worst of our fears have come true. We have many hues over here in the panel also. The last 2 months, the kind of instigation that we have had, the kind of debates we have had according to CAA, no one citizenship has been taken. The kind of rumor mongering that we had, finally what has happened today is people's life had gone, no one's citizenship have gone. I please appeal to you, don't go out for fear mongering, don't go out for kind of rumor mongering that you have been doing.
Okay, I want to very quickly bring in Sushil Pandit. Sushil Pandit, yes. Look, let's call a spade tonight.
Yeah.
There has been a great deal of irresponsible talk around this issue.
Yeah.
Now, the BJP says that Trump was coming to India. This gave an incentive to certain individuals, perhaps in the opposition. If you go through today, the comments that have been coming out from the Bharatiya Janata Party, they were incentivized to spark a situation like this. They'd been itching to do this. It's happened. And it's very difficult when on this scale, you call upon the Delhi police that is already stretched trying to give protection to Donald Trump, where companies, as many as 20 to 30 companies are diverted for that job to be able to stop this kind of organized reprisal.
I agree with you. It might be true what Mr. Patra and you suggest, that Trump's visit may have been a trigger for escalation, but I like to make two specific points.
Yes.
A, weeks back, our Prime Minister very perceptively observed that what was going on at Shahin Bagh was an experiment, a prayog. This experiment was allowed to go for so long that those who were conducting this experiment realized its scalability. They have begun to scale up this enterprise across the country. This is the big picture. The specifics is, ever since the scalability was found viable, you saw escalation in the pitch. There was a call to civil war. Nothing short of that. When you said 15 crore 100 pe bhari, there were a whole lot of other incendiary statements. And this case for restraint, I think, is far too overstated. I saw a man pointing the gun at a cop's head. Anywhere in the world, he would have been dead by now. It was fortuitous that this cop has survived this threat, and this man was shooting away with this weapon. And we've merely arrested him. This kind of restraint, sir, would have cost us more lives.
Well, I'll tell you, Constable Ratan Lal died of a bullet injury. So that has been confirmed.
Can
it may
you
not have
imagine?
been. It may not have been the cop who Shah Rukh pointed his weapon at, but certainly Ratan Lal, Constable.
So we
was
would have
killed.
lost 2 cops instead of 1
Okay.
at that time.
Let
And
me
this
bring
cop
in-
had only a baton in his hand, and he is facing marauders mobs carrying weapons, carrying missiles. You have people who've stored these missiles on their rooftops. They have actually fortified these places and are ready to battle. That is the level of preparation that has gone in.
Okay.
And we talk of restraint.
But, Sabah Naqvi, would you like to come in on this? Sabah Naqvi, we've seen what we've seen, what we've...
I could possibly say a few words.
Yes, please, go ahead. Please go ahead.
So basically, it's a very sensitive situation, and I would urge people on the panel who have not gone there to hold their horses. The main culprits, as I see it, is the inaction of Delhi police, number one, and what was said by Kapil Mishra. That the Bharatiya Janata Party should look into. That was the trigger, we all know. There were 2 triggers. Let me just give it to you. There was a protest going on in part of the road, and then 4 days ago, for some reason, they moved it to, and they blocked the road, which was a provocation. But then Kapil Mishra comes, and now you have a situation where you have journalists now of other channels who are being asked to prove whether they are Hindus before they're being allowed. I could not go into a certain area because I was told I'm going to be allowed, I'm going to be checked up as a Muslim. We have reached a very, very difficult situation in Delhi right now.
One second. There have been instances even in our channel where,
I met Bhavtosh
and I'm
as
not
I was
going to
leaving.
So one second. I'll bring him in because he will give you anecdotes of the opposite also happening. Now that's precisely why Sabah Naqvi, I didn't want to get into this Hindu-Muslim.
Yes.
I think we are way beyond that tonight.
He was not
Please,
beaten up, but they were beaten up.
If you've
They were
been there,
beaten
then
up,
you're
for
going to
God's
have
sake.
to have seen
Somebody
what was
lost
happening.
a tooth. Someone lost a tooth. Someone got bashed up.
Some people have lost lives,
You know,
man.
Rahul,
We are
have
losing
to go
lives
there to
now.
see
We have
what is
lost our sense of humanity.
Yes, I know that.
We cannot
Yes, and
constantly
some people
reduce this
cannot
to a
read
binary.
GTB or
We have to
Anyway.
ask, and I'm going to bring in some
You are
responsible
doing it.
voices.
I'm not doing it.
No,
I didn't
you
even
are.
come
Once
here.
again, we
allow
are
me,
back
I
to
would
finger
like to
I was
pointing.
told
reply
that
to
this
what
is
We are
going to
sick
be
of
a
the
debate
finger
about
pointing, man.
communal harmony.
We are sick
I
of
didn't
it.
want to be part
Professor
of that
Rizwan
toxic
Kaisar.
He
debate.
is latching
Anyway.
on to one statement of Kapil Mishra.
I mean, I'll tell
where
you.
he's
No,
only
you want me
asking
to
for
be.
a
No,
road
one
to be
minute. Let
opened.
me be politically incorrect. Let me be politically incorrect. Let me tell you about the bully.
Yeah,
You
I
want this to
didn't
be
want to
reduced
be
to this
part
kind
of
of
it.
debate?
Yeah,
Then we
you
do it.
want to answer to what
I'll
Sabah
tell you.
said, if you allow me.
Yesterday, when a young man walked up to a policeman and pointed a gun to his head, I'll tell you what people began to say. People began to say that this is a Hindutva terrorist. And these tweets came out of responsible journalists and commentators. And you know why they said it? Because there was something orange flashing in the background. It turned out to be a crate.
Of eggs.
A crate. It was not some saffron flag. And you had a whole group of people starting from New York,
You have
people in universities there commenting about the Hindutva terrorist who was pointing a gun. Later on, when it turned out that his name
Rahul, a
could not
couple of
possibly,
seconds. I would like to reply to Sabah, please.
mean that he was a Hindutva terrorist, those very same people started questioning the journalists who were confirming that he did not belong to a majority community. Even then. And then what happens, viewers? Finally, when it is proven beyond doubt that that individual was not a Hindutva terrorist, was not even part of the majority community, you had a situation where these individuals did not condemn them, did not take their words back, did not condemn the fact that a person who could be anti-CA could whip out a gun and point it blatantly at the temple of a policeman. So let's not today go down this road, because the videos I have seen equally stack up. Now, are you going to constantly view people as Hindus and Muslims? Or are we going to say we are Indians today and we have a problem?
I didn't want to be
and we need to ask the right questions of our authorities who have been caught sleeping. Whether it's the political class in Delhi, whether it is the political class at the center and the police.
Can I ask a question to Sabah Naqvi, if you allow me?
Everything like
Rahul, if you
No,
allow
I'm
me a
not,
few
1 minute.
seconds.
I'm not going to allow this conversation to go sideways. I'm going to bring in Professor Rizwan Kaisar. I'm also going to bring in...
Please do.
Yes, I'm going to bring in people who will not be quick today to attribute motives to one side. There is no innocent one side here anymore. You just have to go there and you will realize this. And I want to ask you, Professor Rizwan Kaisar, you know what worries me? What worries me is that nobody in these areas is feeling safe. It doesn't matter which denomination they're from. Humanity is not safe tonight.
Rahul, there are three things. Number one, I entirely endorse your initial editorial comments. It made a lot of sense to your viewers, person like me. Number two, I think it's a huge failure of intelligence on the part of Delhi police.
Yes, good point.
For years, it's been claiming to be one of the most professional forces in the country. That in variety of ways it is. But at least in this context, I can say there's a colossal failure of intelligence. Three, once police decide to stamp out any act of violence, it has the capacity, it has the resources wherewithal to stamp it out. That is where it failed. Finally, I think what you rightly said, the loss of Delhi is actually a loss of humanity that we have seen.
Yes,
and
sir.
I have been as a student in this city in 1984, I have seen what happened to Sikhs, the way things burned. Today is not the day to apportion the blame, Hindu versus Muslim. I think you're right.
We can't do this. We have to ask the right questions. It's about time that we begin to ask the right questions. And I'm telling you, more violence is broken out. I just need to go across, please. This is very important. More violence is breaking out. Delhi is burning, viewers. Delhi is burning. Fresh violence breaks out. Priyank Tripathi joins me. Priyank, where is this latest conflagration? What is happening on the ground? Okay, we're not being able to hear you. What's the problem? Fresh violence breaks out in Delhi. We are being told it's Jafrabad. Once again, where violence, on Mojpur and Jafrabad, both these areas is where the violence is. Bhavtosh, what can you tell us? We're going to try and reconnect with Priyank, but you might have also some information to share with us on this.
Rahul, just around 2-3 minutes back, we heard tear gas shell being lobbed something like 400-500 meters from where I am standing, and then we saw police officers rushing inside. It's too dark to even shoot, and the police has also advised us not to go with them. But yes, something has happened. Maybe it's stone pelting, but we also have visual from Yamuna Vihar. If we can put it out, for the first time, Delhi police is virtually giving shoot at sight orders, telling people to stay indoor. And even as we speak, Rahul, continuous tear gas shells are being lobbed. We can hear the tear gas shells are being lobbed.
Can you just cut to these pictures? Is it possible for you to train your cameras on these pictures? Is it possible at all, Bhavtosh?
Rahul, we can try to show. If I can ask my VJ, there are some. In fact, we can't, Rahul. It would be. It's not possible. But yes, tear gas shells are being lobbed continuously. We can tell you that at least 8 to 9 rounds. If you can hear what I'm telling you.
Yes, we can hear very clearly.
Have been lobbed. This is Babarpur and Kabir Nagar area, which is which adjoins Zafrabad and Mojpur, and continuous tear gas shell. But this has become a new normal as far as Northeast is concerned. Initially, it looked quite scary, but it has been going on since Sunday, and it's just part of
Priyank, you know, Mojpur and Jafrabad remain tinder boxes. I mean, we have seen busfuls of police going in there. What's the problem? Why aren't they being able to stop this?
See, Rahul, while we are talking about, see, there's the additional deployment which is once again been moved. And since yesterday morning, Rahul, all we could hear is the sound of these tear shells being lobbed on the Delhi police post from the Delhi police postals and movement of these security forces. The sound of siren is so common right now in this area, Rahul, that people have forgotten that whether this area used to be one of the biggest and the crowdest and used to witness the heaviest traffic in the national capital. Right now, this particular stretch of the road is totally empty because rioters are indulging in series of acts of vandalism. We know that around 70 people, this is official data, till later in the afternoon, that 70 people had sustained bullet wound injury. Unconfirmed report which was suggested by the local intelligence unit was suggesting that 200 rounds were fired by the protesters. We should not call them protesters, Rahul, because they are rioters. They are behaving like terrorists. They are firing indiscriminately on innocent people. 10 people have lost their life. 15 to 16 FIRs have been filed. But fact of the matter is the situation on the ground remains to be very serious.
Okay, well, there is more news coming in. Fresh violence breaks out in Delhi, and now we are being told that a order has been passed. Violence after violence in Mojpur and Jafrabad, there has been an order that has been given. Delhi police are firing tear gas shells. I'm being told that now zero tolerance policy is being adopted. Shoot at sight order in Yamuna Vihar. Let's play that out. Shoot at sight orders have been issued. Bhavtosh, where are these orders? Where have they been issued? What is the area that is witnessing this zero tolerance policy? Let's just keep those visuals on. Yes.
Well, Rahul, this announcement was made by Delhi police in Yamuna Vihar at around 7:45, and similar announcements are being made in other parts. We can hear that the public address system is being used by the police in other parts, but it's now very clear that police have decided to take a very stern action against those who are indulging in violence. In fact, this kind of movement, had it been done yesterday, things would have been brought under control at least 24 hours early. If these shoot at sight orders in the manner in which we just saw police personnel moving inside Babarpur, Kabir Nagar, and also in Jafrabad and in Mojpur, it was missing since Sunday. Very quick movement by the police, and you can also see that the tear gas shells have been stopped, are not being lobbed now, but there was a stone pelting in that area. We then heard police personnel moving. We saw several cars going inside, and then tear gas shells went on for at least 1 to 2 minutes, and police have now said
so being told that 3 border approaches to Delhi in the northeast have been sealed. This has been put out by Ajay Shankar Pandey, the DM. He's gone out and said that because of the violence in northeast Delhi, 3 approaches from Ghaziabad into Delhi have been sealed. So the police have sealed the Delhi-Ghaziabad border. I want to bring in Shehzad Poonawalla. Shehzad Poonawalla, this is a massive indictment of the political class in this country and, of course, the administration.
Yes, Rahul. Collectively, the political leadership has a lot of questions to answer. But Rahul, while we are asking questions of the Delhi police, should we not ask that what was the original sin That original sin was committed 72 days ago when the state's writ was challenged in the name of a protest. In the burqa of protest, what we had were a bunch of people who were challenging the authority of the parliament, the Supreme Court, the Delhi police, and day after day they were justified by panelists, some of them sitting here, and encouraging them, egging them on to take on these radical methods.
Yeah.
Please hold on, Professor. Let me say the bitter truth. This is exactly what happened in the precursor to Mr. Sushil Pandit's family being kicked out of Kashmir. This is exactly what happened when you allow an experiment to become a principle that yes, we will sit on any part of the city that we want, we will challenge the authorities. When the Supreme Court was hearing the Shaheen Bagh matter and was about to kick these people out of the Shaheen Bagh
so you're saying that, so now you're saying that all of this is because of that.
And this is not, this is being done, this is being done as a part of a
look, once again, you're doing exactly what, you're doing exactly what Sabha Naqvi did.
I am telling you this.
No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, sir. I'm asking you a question which is beyond this. 1 minute. Both Sabha Naqvi and you're constantly finding fault with one side or the other.
No, just
why are we? That's not right. That's not right. Shehzad Poonawala. Look, 1 minute. There is no. Yes, exactly. I'm glad that you're saying this. There can be no moral equivalence tonight. Please don't do this. We are already divided. Can't you see it?
How dare you equate me?
Can't you see it? Can't you see it? It's there, it's clear.
A boy who sits on a TV channel.
The country is divided. We're sitting here and we are pointing fingers at each other as if we are antagonists. We are Indians first.
If Kapil Mishra is responsible, file a complaint. Sabha Naqvi tweeted they don't believe in the Supreme Court. Who is filing a complaint against her? I want to ask this country, who is filing a complaint against Sabha Naqvi, who said do not believe the Supreme Court of India?
Please, I don't want to go down this route tonight.
You file a complaint against Kapil Mishra. But what about the Sabha Naqvis of the world?
Today is the day.
Please, let's stand as one. I beg you people, you're senior, intelligent individuals who are opinion makers. Yes, Sabha Naqvi, I want you to today rise above partisanship. Let's rise above partisanship. I beg you. Go ahead. Speak if you want to. Make your point. Let's speak as Indians.
I was told this is a program for communal harmony.
It is.
And there is a spokesperson from political parties. I have been to the ground. You didn't allow me to finish a sentence. I said the problem began when a protest which was happening in the side of the road moved in and blocked the road some days ago. You did not allow me to finish it. It began when they began there. Then stage 2, there was a very provocative speech by a BJP individual. Thirdly, the Delhi police did not act when there was a lot of advance warning given.
BJP name has been invoked a number of times. I reserve my right to answer.
Please. This tweet and tell me what message do you get from this damn tweet?
BJP's name has been brought in twice, thrice. I believe I need to answer as a BJP spokesperson.
But please read this tweet out. Those who are behaving like morally superior creatures in this planet and this panel, please read out this tweet. I challenge you, Mr. Rahul Shivshankar, read out this tweet by one of your panelists. I challenge you to do that. You hang Kapil Mishra by the lamppost. But here is the tweet. I don't think people should have hopes pinned on the Supreme Court. They should fight CA politically and morally, even if the court rules in favor of the centre's right to face such
Rahul, since the
let me tell you. 1 minute. Let me tell you. I have already come out and said that there are two individuals here who are going to constantly go back in time and try to pick out who started it. It doesn't matter anymore. Who's going to stop it? Exactly. Is the question that we should be asking. We are looking at this inverted.
I don't want to engage, yaar. He's nothing. He just keeps mentioning.
No, I'm sorry, Sabha Naqvi. We all need to rise above our partisan positions tonight. Please. It's too late for this. It's too late for pointing fingers and finding fault. Today we need to stand. And I want to bring in Preeti Sharma Menon of the Aam Aadmi Party. And I want to ask you, ma'am, why did it take 3 days for Arvind Kejriwal to even come out? He should have come out early. I'm glad he's come out today. I'm glad that he went to Rajghat and reminded the nation that there was a man called Gandhiji, Bapuji, who stood for something. And that was humanity and peace between communities. But it's taken him 3 days. Yes, we can constantly find fault with Amit Shah and with the centre, and they have a lot to answer for. Who is denying that? But you also have a responsibility. You have MLAs in this city in a massive majority. Why didn't you bring out what were known as dals, Aman dals, and go out there and try to pacify individuals and say, this is not the way, people? You don't do this?
All of yesterday, our MLAs were on the ground.
Don't tell me that.
All of yesterday, we were trying to reach out to Delhi police everywhere where there was panic.
You need
yes,
to be
I am
upfront.
telling you that, and you.
It was only after I raised that issue here that your chap started going out.
Either you let me speak. If you will not let me speak, I will keep quiet. I am not going to be part of. Sorry.
Don't lie.
If you let me speak, I will speak. If you don't want me to speak, I'll keep quiet.
Don't lie. Be upfront tonight. Be upfront.
No,
Come
you
on.
cannot accuse a person of lying. No,
There can
I
be
am
no
sorry.
reconciliation
You
without
cannot
the
accuse
truth.
a person of lying without even hearing what one person has said.
Go ahead, ma'am.
You cannot do that.
Go ahead.
All that you do on this panel is there has been enough hate mongering going on. It is in time to stop it. Everybody on this panel is just screaming and spreading more hate. We need to be more responsible. Can we just all calm down and stop speaking over each other and inciting people and scaring people who are sitting in their homes hoping to get some sane information out of what is being broadcast today? It is very important to understand that Delhi is burning and it is a failure of the Delhi police. It is important for all of us to come and say that Delhi police needs support. The army should be called in. There should be curfew imposed in the entire areas. We cannot afford to lose a single life. Whether it is that of a Hindu or a Muslim doesn't matter. A life is a life. They are Indian citizens. We should all in one voice should be asking that why is the army not being called in? Why are Delhi borders not being sealed? Why is curfew not being imposed so that this madness can be stopped? That is what we should all be asking in one voice. Instead, we are just hate mongering.
Dr. Patra,
I don't have anything to contribute to the hate mongering.
At least on one point, I agreed with Preeti that today we should not be shouting over each other. Today we have to be extremely patient. Number one, Preeti, as we speak, I think most of the things that you keep in demand have already been fulfilled. The paramilitary forces, the curfew, etc. Remember, restraint is one of the most important issues with the police. But since we are all moving towards a solution, since Rahul Shivshankar said that today it's not visiting the past, but the future as to how we can control, I have a suggestion over here, Rahul. We have to address the basics. Why did we start with this? So that we can treat it. We started because we made a non-Hindu Muslim issue into a Hindu Muslim issue. CAA was not a Hindu Muslim issue. The Prime Minister kept on saying so. The Home Minister kept on saying so. That no Muslim is going to lose their citizenship because of CAA. But I'm sorry, Rahul. I mean, I don't want to point my fingers towards anyone, but there were quote-unquote so-called leaders who kept on instigating people that Muslims would be sent to detention centers, Muslims are going to meet all kind of dire consequences, and that's the reason as to why a non-Hindu Muslim issue was converted into a Hindu Muslim issue.
We need to now keep religion out of this. We've already seen the consequences of bringing religion into this. Let's keep the... No, 1 second. It's taken
not a communal issue.
President of the United States to tell us very clearly that there are individuals in this country who are still working hard to reconcile differences between communities. That tolerance lives on in India. I don't think tonight we need to seek affirmation from partisan voices. We need to go to those people who speak as Indians first. And I want to, first of all, just break some more news that has been fed to us. We are being told that in Jafrabad, a police team is actually caught and reinforcements are being rushed in as we speak to try and free them. Siddhant is with us for more on this. Siddhant, what can you tell us what's happening? Siddhant?
Well, yes, Rahul, you know, this was a message which was yes, Rahul, this was a message which was received by the control room here at Northeast District, where I'm reporting from. And there you see the reinforcements are rushing towards the side. The DCP is heading the fresh reinforcement team. We have been told, the prima facie, it has been confirmed that one reinforcement team who was handling the protesters, who was sent for the reinforcement purposes, got stuck between the rioters protesters.
Situation remains tense, and we are also getting more news. The Jafrabad metro station road has been cleared now of all protesters. This is what we are being told. Remember, on Friday and Saturday, new protesters came out, obviously wanting to emulate the Shaheen Bagh model, and they came there and they occupied that particular area, the road, and they blocked it off. Now that has been cleared by the police. Priyank Tripathi is there with us. Those are the visuals that are coming to the left of your screens from Jafrabad under the metro station. Priyank, what can you tell us?
See, Rahul, the breaking input which we are getting, that Jafrabad protest side of the anti-CA protesters has been cleared, and as you can see, the Delhi police team is moving towards that location which has now been cleared. So as politically also, Rahul, but there were claims which were made that the protest side will be cleared as soon as President Donald Trump will be out of the national capital. That has happened. More reinforcement is going on, and we will certainly try to move ahead, Rahul, and go. It's almost, more than a kilometer distance from here, but we will certainly go and show you the visuals of that location. Although we have the mobile clip visual which has been shared by the Delhi police officers, that the Jafrabad protest site where the anti-CA protesters came on late Saturday evening has been cleared by the Delhi police official. This is a breaking input which is coming out all New York Times, Rahul, that the anti-CA protesters who were sitting at Jafrabad, metro station has been removed by the Delhi police officials. Back to you.
Okay, well, while you move to that position, I just hope, viewers, that you realize that what might have been considered a provocation is being cleared effectively even as we speak today. So if anyone was harboring any sense of resentment over this, well, that is now over. Now you need to go back to your homes. You must go back to your homes. You must. And it's very, very important, exercise discretion. I'm also being told, even as we speak, that Dr. Fahad Halim has joined the broadcast. Dr. Halim, I have a small quibble tonight with your political party. One of your colleagues, Mr. Mohammed Salim, a very senior leader of your political party, has been tweeting, sir, videos. A lot of them are unverified. And these videos are extremely inflammatory, sir. Do you believe that it devolves upon a political party to be putting out unverified videos, sir? You can make the same point. You can question the center. You can attack the authorities. You can question whoever. But do you need to, sir, today take on as a crutch an inflammatory video to further bolster the point that can easily be made without it? That's the question.
Well, Rahul, I have not just joined the broadcast. I have been on the broadcast since its initiation, and I've been waiting for 40 minutes to participate in the discussion. Now, we've written a letter to the Home Minister today on behalf of the CPIM, where we have categorically informed the Home Minister, because he seems to be unaware of the gravity of the situation, that 9 people have lost their lives, including a constable of the police.
10.
And there are further members of society and the police administration who are fighting for their lives. The response from the Home Minister has been very, very poor in this regard, because if I just, analyze the confusion that you have just set in the last few minutes of your presentation, that without declaring curfew, the police has been allowed to perform a shoot at sight. They have been given orders to do that. What can be more unfortunate that without declaring curfew, the central government is giving the right to the police to shoot at sight? So,
no, sir, curfew.
Please, you've been spoken for a long time. I'm just commenting on what Rahul has informed me about.
The curfew has been imposed.
Please,
I believe you should
I'm
come
speaking
out
on
with
the
that
information
news.
that has just been delivered on the channel.
Okay, one second, sir. There was confusion initially.
You didn't correct Rahul.
One second.
Why were you suppressing? On channel? No,
I'm not suppressing
on
anything.
Network, Sambit Patra was suppressing information to the nation.
Dr. Halim.
And that is exactly what the Bharatiya Janata Party is doing.
No, who said
They have
suppressing
been
information?
exposed. On this channel, Rahul, when you said
suppressing?
curfew
Dr.
has
Halim.
not been imposed and shoot and side orders have been given, Sambit Patra did not make the clarification.
Curfew.
Section 144 has been applied.
Is all about. This is what the Bharatiya
Section
Janata Party
144 has been applied. Let me go back to the reporters to get an update on this. I don't want a situation where we are.
Let me finish.
Okay, one second, doctor.
For a long time, let me speak.
Yeah, 1 second, doctor.
I need to finish.
Yeah, you make your point, but you also address the original question I asked you, sir. Please.
Letter to the Home Minister. I am coming to that. And number two, in the letter we have categorically said that this is the time for restraint. It's very unfortunate. On your channel today, we've got two spokespersons who are trying to justify the lack of restraint. We have Sushil Pandit on your national network today, inciting those people who are trying to provocate
Inciting
a situation of riot.
Asking for an action against someone who's armed to teeth, trying to kill a policeman is incitement.
Restraint is something that should not be here. These are national disgraces.
Asking police
These are
to be
national
tough
disgraces.
on goons
These
is
are
incitement.
people who are the intellectual face of rioters in India. These are the people who are sitting shoulder to shoulder with the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
No, 1 second, Dr. Halim. Look, Dr. Halim. No, Dr. Halim, you are entitled to question whoever you want to, but you haven't answered my basic question, and that question was that one of your colleagues has been all through the day tweeting unverified videos with very inflammatory commentary and adding, sir, to a feeling of mistrust and suspicion. And I think that is irresponsible. Would you not think this?
Allowing stone pelters to collect stones.
Sir, it has happened on both sides. It has happened on both sides. Now don't do this. You're part of the problem. And I'll tell you this is there you go. You see, there you go. There you go. What is it coming down to? It's coming down to once again Hindu and Muslim. It's coming down once again to Hindu and Muslim. And I'm telling you, viewers, the real problem are the people you're electing. It's these politicians that you elect.
Because you want to take a slant.
No, there is no slant here, sir. We are speaking as Indians. You are not speaking as an Indian. You are speaking once again as a representative of one particular side in a community. This is disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. You should be asking your own colleague to stop you tweeting unverified, inflammatory videos that is creating tension. And he should actually be booked. He should be booked for this. There are laws. There are laws, sir. You should actually be asking your colleague to stop it. And you are today doing this because you are reporting. No, 1 second. Because you are, sir, hoping that you communalize and polarize the state of Bengal ahead of an election a year from now. That is the game you're playing. And that is the reason why, sir, I am asking tonight all political parties to stop this. We are seeing the consequences. What do you people want? What do you people want? Whether it's at the center, whether it is at the state level, whether it's in the opposition or the treasury benches, what do you want? Are we your guinea pigs? Are the people of India your guinea pigs? That's the question. That's the fundamental question. And I want you to come in on this, Mr. Pandit. Whenever political parties try to use the people to further their ends, what do they end up doing? You tell me. You have been there. You have faced it in a different situation, in a different state. Please tell the viewers tonight.
Unfortunately, because they refuse to learn these lessons from history, they repeat these tragedies as farce. Time and again. And who suffer, who pay for this are the people who are used as cannon fodder in your intercommunal clashes.
Today the
That is what
Minister
happens.
is instigating violence.
You are the instigator.
Rahul, can I just take a couple of seconds to come up with something extremely important?
That's how you perpetuate the problem. That's how you instigate further violence.
Okay. No, 1 second. I need to go across to Vivek Narayan. He's breaking some news. Vivek, I'm being told that another political party, the SDPI, is now trying to fish in troubled waters. What is exactly the SDPI stand?
Well, Rahul, it seems riots are something that some people regale in. They enjoy it and they use it for their own political purposes. The SDPI president, Mr. Fassi, has come out with a statement. It's an official release by the SDPI. He goes on to say that the Hindutva elements and police have deliberately carried out atrocities on northeast Delhi. Then he goes on to give some graphic details of what happened, which I will skip. Then he goes on to say that timing of the violence was so planned that it happened when the entire media attention was on Donald Trump's visit. That's what Fassi said. Fassi has turned the entire story upside down. He said this was pre-planned because there was a visit by the U.S. President. The actual target of the administration of the Modi government was to ensure that certain individuals were attacked and maybe some people were killed. But it's essentially because they wanted to turn the media attention towards Donald Trump's visit, and they did this surreptitiously. Well, that's an interesting...
What kind of warped logic is this? And that's why I'm telling you, viewers, it's your political class, the people that you elect. I don't know why, but you elect these individuals, and this is how they repay you. They don't even want to secure your future or your children's future. They want to jeopardize it. They want a situation to brew in this country where we are at each other's throats. The time has come. The time has come, viewers, to take a step back and to examine the motives of these individuals. In the meantime, earlier today, viewers, the United States President Donald Trump took questions from the media on the CAA, on the riots in Delhi, and he came out and suggested that he felt that India was still a very tolerant place. He believes that India retains its secular outlook, and in doing so, Donald Trump has been able to neutralize the commentary that has been coming from one section of the press and the intelligentsia in this country that suggests otherwise. Here is that sequence. Watch this sequence, viewers.
While you've been here in the country, in the capital, northeast part of Delhi, there have been violent clashes. Police have been killed, some demonstrators, 9 deaths so far, we hear, and about 100 plus injured. What did Prime Minister Modi say to you about this amended citizenship law? And how concerned are you about this kind of religious violence?
So we did talk about religious freedom, and I will say that the Prime Minister was incredible on what he told me. He wants people to have religious freedom, and very strongly. And he said that in India they have worked very hard to have great and open religious freedom. And if you look back and look at what's going on relative to other places especially, but they have really worked hard on religious freedom. I asked that question in front of a very large group of people today, and he talked about it. We talked about it for a long time, and I really believe that's what he wants. As far as the individual attack, I heard about it, but I didn't discuss that with him. That's up to India.
What is your position at the moment on India's Citizen Amendment Act at the moment?
I don't want to discuss that. I want to leave that to India, and hopefully they're going to make the right decision for the people. That's really up to India.
Back home, they were hoping you would raise concerns about some of these policies that Prime Minister Modi has introduced that discriminate against Muslims, and also about a rise in hate crimes here in India. But as someone
we did discuss that, and we discussed that, and specifically Muslims, and we also discussed Christians.
But someone
I had a very powerful answer from the Prime Minister. We talked about religious liberty for a long period of time in front of a lot of people, and I had a very, very powerful answer. And as far as Muslims are concerned, as he told me, I guess they have 200 million Muslims in India, and a fairly short while ago they had 14 million.
So you yourself have been criticized for policies that have discriminated against Muslims, like the travel ban. There's also been a rise in hate crimes over the last couple of years in the US. So are you in a position to talk to him about those subjects?
Yeah, I won the travel ban, as you probably know. A lot of people said I lost it. No, I won the travel ban, and we use the travel ban where we think there's, not based on religion, but where we think there's going to be trouble, where we're looking at certain countries. As you know, we added a few countries onto it. but we won the travel ban, and we won it in the Supreme Court. So the travel ban is not a thing against Muslims. It's a thing against areas where we don't want people coming into our country that are going to cause problems, cause harm, cause death, hurt our people. And I feel very strongly about that.